Hey everyone, this is Fabio and welcome back to a new video. And today we're going to do a sort of update of an older video I made because some days ago a fantastic subscriber, I'm still flabbergasted some of you are even watching my crappy videos. You guys are the best, absolutely. I'm so thankful for all of you. Made a comment on an older video I made 2 years ago. And more specifically, that was a video response to my good friend Leo, the funny nerd, on the top 10 nagging games on the shelf. So those games, like the eternal backlog, basically. We bought a specific game, we were super excited about it, and then obviously it got swallowed by the monster known as backlog, of course. So for whatever reason, this game, we were so excited about it, stayed on the shelf for years. So in order to reply to this comment, out of curiosity, I rewatched that video and I was like, oh boy, this video definitely shows its age because it's filled with DS, PSP, PS Vita games, which for the most part, if I have to be blunt, I almost don't give a shit about anymore. I'm exaggerating, of course, but a game such as Hotel Dusk, ideally I would like to play it eventually, also in order to play something a bit different than usually, but it's so far low the, let's call it priority food chain. It's natural, obviously, like certain game, ideally I would like to play all of my games. I know it's never going to happen because there will always be games which have priority over others. So again, I placed at least half of the games I talk in that list. And with the exception of Stella Glow, which was a phenomenal experience, most of them were okay to, I don't want to say disappointing, but like the most glaring case of this was my second to most nagging game was Utaware Rumono on the Vita, and that game was a major disappointment. I played for 5 hours, super boring. I needed to try it again, definitely, because some of my friends have really high regards over that game, but it wasn't really good. I'm sorry, but I was so bored with that game. But I'll try it again eventually. It's there, but again, it's certainly not my second to most prioritized game. It's probably like second to last or something. So I decided that I wanted to update that list because my priority they have changed drastically. Now my priorities are primarily Switch, PS4, and still some 3DS game. And something else a bit more retro, but yeah, my priorities are different. So with all this said, this is my update, top 10 nagging games on the shelf. Definitely do a video response. What are games that are still nagging on the shelf? They're screaming for your attention, but no, there is that new shiny toy that you have to play, despite that other game being hyped for months, probably. What can we do? It's the curse of the backlog. It's something that all of us have to go through. But let's chit and chat. Let's get into the list at number 10. Very low on the priority list, but eventually, this is important in reality. We'll have on the 3DS, The Legend of Zelda, A Link Between Worlds. I still haven't played this because it's a Zelda game. And in the last 2, 3, 4 years, I really don't feel like it playing Zelda games. And that's what prevented me from playing Breath of the Wild, which, spoiler, it's not on the list. Because the Zelda game I want to play the most, it's this one. The reason it's simple, I've always preferred the top-down classic Zelda to the 3D one. So I believe this has also the potential of becoming my favorite. And before Breath of the Wild, I even want to play Link's Awakening. So Breath of the Wild is really low on priorities, even though it's the best and most important game ever conceived by humanity. I don't care. I want to play this first. Eventually, I hope to play it so that we kind of reignite my passion for Zelda, kind of like what Resident Evil 5 did for the Resident Evil series. So that we'll play this, Link's Awakening, and eventually Breath of the Wild. But we'll see. And unfortunately, as I said, it's not exactly the next game I will play, but it's still there. I haven't forgot about the Zelda games that I own. And eventually I will like to play it because it's supposed to be very good. And I like to play good games. Number 9, we have an entire series which I still haven't tackled for lack of time, lack of opportunities, and giving priorities to other games. And that is the Valkyrie Profile series. This was also featured in my previous list, and it hasn't changed. I really want to play the Valkyrie Profile games because I'm a huge fan of Tri-Ace, and I have a feeling that I will love this series. Now I have all three games. I cannot show you Lenneth on PSP, which I have that, and Covenant of the Plume on the DS, which I own that as well. But as a representative, we got here Valkyrie Profile to Silmeria, there you go, which is supposed to be one of the most underrated PS2 RPG, and supposedly it's phenomenal. So, yeah, I really want to get into this series. Now that I think I'll have a better appreciation of the combat system, because I remember that I didn't enjoy Covenant of the Plume when I tried it for about a couple of hours, because the combat system felt weird at the time. Now I'm more familiar with that combat system, primarily because of Exist Archive, which is supposed to be a spiritual successor of Valkyrie Profile, which featuring a similar combat system or just an updated version of it. I really enjoy the combat system of Exist Archive, and if it's anything closer to Valkyrie Profile, I'm gonna love these games. But as I said, like, they're supposed to be amazing. So eventually we'll play these games, but we'll see. Now we're getting into, again, a heavy hitter on the 3DS, and that is the Bravely Default series. I have both Bravely Default and Bravely Second. I don't own Bravely Default 2 yet, because I would like to play these two first. They're supposed to be amazing. I still haven't got the occasion to play it. It's a classic RPG with an amazing job system. I love those. So it will happen eventually. It's just a matter, again, of like, oh yeah, I have to remember, oh yeah, I need to play Bravely Default. It's just a matter of that. But with so many games screaming and yelling in order to get your attention, it's really hard to remember. It's easier said than done. And number 7, very fittingly, we have Dragon Quest VII on the 3DS. I mean, it's kind of the only big Dragon Quest beside 10 that I haven't played yet. And this is supposed to be the Ultimate Edition. I put it on my 3DS 6 months ago or something, just to see how it is. And I liked what I played for, again, 2 hours. I was just killing time at the airport, basically. But eventually we'll play, because I love Dragon Quest and I needed to play this. But it's still been on the shelf for the most part. At number 6, we have an interesting one. This is kind of one of the most retro games on this list, but because last year I replayed and finally finished Wild Arms, I kind of want to do the same with Wild Arms 3, which I remember I enjoyed this immensely, but I never finished it. So I would like to go back to it and fully enjoyed it, because considering how much I've enjoyed the first Wild Arms, again, I've already played it like in 2000, something like that, even earlier maybe, but I never finished it. Now I want to give Wild Arms 3 the same treatment, and I'm sure it will become one of my favorite PS2 RPG, considering how much I love this series. I need to finish what I have. Number 5, now we're getting into the big ones. I mean, all of these are games that I always wanted to play, finish, or etc. But the next 5 are the biggest one. First and foremost, I still need to finish Bloodborne. I played a good chunk of it. I'm in the section after the battle against the Rom, the huge spider thing, and went pretty deep in the section there, but at the time I was still living in London, so I was on a clock. Basically, I remember the last days before getting back in the UK, I was desperately playing Bloodborne to get as much as possible. So now it's almost a year has passed and I haven't played it back, because in the meanwhile, I played plenty of other games. But I haven't forgotten about Bloodborne, because this game is excellent. It's my introduction to the Souls series and formula, and I fell in love with it immediately. So this will be, it's kind of is, but it will be my access to the rest of the Souls series. So I got another game on this list, which it's the one I want to play after Bloodborne, and then continue with other games that I own. Number 4, we're going to the 3DS one more time with Fire Emblem Fates Conquest. I play all the Fire Emblem games I own, but I haven't played this yet. Just as I said, like, it hasn't happened yet. There are no explanations. I love Fire Emblem. It's one of my favorite RPG series. And I'm sure I'm gonna love Fates, because from what I understand, it's almost the same thing as Awakening. And that's kind of why some people were disappointed, because it wasn't a next step further Awakening. So I don't know. I'm sure I'm gonna love it. I just need to find the occasion again. There are no reasons why I haven't played it. And I mean, I don't own. I don't remember what's called the other one, but I got Conquest basically day one, and I'm sure I'm gonna love it. Number 3, this is one of the worst cases here, because I bought this very early for my PS4. I played a bit of it, so I just never got fully into it and never finished it. And that is Nier Automata. I love the first Nier, absolutely love that game, and I love what I play of Automata. It's just that, again, I was living in London, my PS4 was here in Italy, so I played it for 2 weeks or something. I think I put 20 hours or something into it. It's not that I never opened it. It's just that I played for a while, and then I went away for 6 months, and by that point I was playing something else. So I also had that weird situation that didn't help in this case. But yeah, I mean, as I said, I love Nier, and I love what I experienced with Automata, and I cannot wait to get back to it eventually. Again, just need to find the right occasion. So, well, at number 2, this is nagging in a way that I didn't buy it, this game years ago. It's just that it's such a beloved game that I have to play it sooner rather than later. But it has nagging me for just, I would say, 6 months or something, and that it's Dark Souls Remaster on Switch. As I was saying about Bloodborne, I mean, Bloodborne was my introduction into the Souls formula, but I still really want to play this after Bloodborne, so I can play, where is it? I got Dark Souls 3 here, and I really want to play Sekiro. But first I need to finish Bloodborne and then jump into Dark Souls, because I'm sure I'm gonna love it. I mean, it has recently won the award for the best game of all time. Who gives a shit about awards? But I really appreciate Dark Souls and its type of gameplay, the challenge and reward. It's fantastic. I love it. Just need to find the time and the occasion. And last and certainly not least, this is the game I've been nagging the most for sure, and that is Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I cannot believe I still haven't played this game. Again, just it hasn't happened. I don't have any explanation or justification. It's just, it was there. It's on the Switch. It's portable. There are no excuses. And it missed its chance for this year, because in my previous video, I asked you guys, subscribers and watcher of my channel, to vote between which game should I play first, between Persona 5 Royal and Xenoblade, and unfortunately, Persona was the winner. So this year I will play Persona 5 Royal for sure. Maybe I can still play this year. There are no rules on play both of them. But if I will not play this year, 100%, I will make my New Year's resolution to start 2023 and play Xenoblade Chronicles 2, because I haven't played it for enough time. And that is my update top 20. Yes, my update top 10 nagging games on the shelf. Those games that desperately need my time and attention. I hope to give them. I give it to them. We'll see what happens. But what are some games that are still bothering you and nagging that you haven't played that yet? Definitely let me know in the comments, or if you feel brave, just do a video response. But thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time, and like always, take care.